Welcome to Emotions and Eating with Nicola-beer. Nicola controlled her feelings using food for 25 years, so she knows how draining it is to be constantly thinking about or acting out with food. Thankfully, having made an amazing breakthrough in her recovery, her mission became about helping others escape the unsatisfying cycle of frustration and self-medication with food. Nicola is determined to help you find your inner strength so you can be healthy, gain confidence, feel great, and be at peace with yourself and food.
Hi and welcome, this is Nicola-beer and I'm so excited that you are joining me for episode 2 of Emotional Eating, where today I'm talking about being an all or nothing person. Throughout my battle with food control and overeating, I noticed that it was always pretty much the same turn of events. Excess. I was either eating too much, and by eating too much, I mean way too much. Sometimes my body could not physically handle the food that I was putting in it. Sometimes my body was just exhausted from eating and eating and eating, and I'd go to sleep. My body was churning and churning and churning because it was trying to process the food. Sometimes I couldn't even move, and this was excessive. And then sometimes I'd be controlling myself so excessively that I couldn't even have the energy to get through the day because I was not eating enough. It was literally all or nothing. And both times, it was either excessive consumption or excess control. And control was there all the time. And of course it would rotate according to what I was going through in my life, how much I felt I needed to lose weight, or how I felt about my body. And sometimes it had nothing to do with my body. It was to do with what I was going through emotionally. Whether I felt I deserved to eat. Whether I was in a celebration mode or in a depressed mode. And whatever I was going through, it was a never-ending battle of not being able to control how much I consumed, or restricting myself because I was punishing myself for not acting the way I should around food. Can you imagine being part of your best friend's wedding and sitting at the head table while everyone is all smiles and laughter and there being so much love in the air, and all you can think about is what meal is coming next, and how you need to know the calorie count of every bite, or that you already do know the calorie count of every bite, and how you are screaming at yourself from the inside because your head is full of food thoughts, and you're eating all the food that isn't allowed in your rule book, or you want to eat everything, and you're just annoyed because you don't want to have these thoughts while you're sat in the middle of your best friend's wedding. And I don't mean when I was saying I'm sitting there in the corner away from everyone. I'm talking about being right there, up, in the moment, smiling away, and inside feeling like I was about to explode with the tension in my head and stomach. It started off in the morning that day, the morning where I ate 3 pieces of bread. And I was annoyed that I ate 3 pieces of bread because no one else ate 3 pieces of bread. Ridiculous, isn't it? But yet that thought was on my mind again and again. And so when it came to the wedding meal, I was annoyed. The soup had thick cream in it, the fish and vegetables were dripping in oil, and the chocolate pudding was, of course, calorific. And part of me didn't want to touch it. Another part of me wanted to scoff the lot. Plus people were there watching, so what I did, I felt extra pressure. And I had to make it look like I was eating, even if I didn't want to eat it. And I panicked. As each course came, I couldn't relax, I couldn't enjoy it. All I could do was reach for the wine and gulped it down in an attempt to drown out the thoughts. How could something so natural and easy, eating a meal, be so difficult for me? How could it be so draining emotionally and mentally? The amount of emotional turmoil I made myself feel was unreal, and the stress was draining the life out of me. At each point of this 25-year trauma that I had eating issues, I was actively either binge eating or starving myself to the point of being so weak and fragile. I was desperate for love, self-love really, but self-love for myself was conditional. I only loved myself if I ate the right amount that I'd set out that day. I only loved myself if I was thin, I only love myself if I manage to get through the day with a low calorie count. It was a sick game where no one was winning. I was punishing myself under the guise that this was good and made me feel happy. I also thought that love from men was linked to me being thin. And our beliefs create our reality. I really believe that, and I'll be sharing more about the power of belief in the coming episodes, so be sure to subscribe to the show if you want to learn more about how to change beliefs and how powerful beliefs are. And the reason I'm mentioning about beliefs now is because I believed that men valued thin women, I attracted men into my life who would say to me, stay as thin as possible. And I was so far from feeling love because my habits were acts of cruelty. I came up with so many ideas how to get this food issue under control. So many ways to tell myself that it's no big deal, I'm free to eat how I want, I can refuse food anytime I want, I can refuse food invitations, I can make myself sick if I want to, it's up to me, I'm in control. But this freedom was an illusion. I had zero freedom. I was a prisoner in a jail I created. The constant need for control limited my enjoyment of life in many ways that I'll share with you over the coming episodes. This all or nothing mentality was killing me mentally, emotionally and physically. I cannot tell you how many times people invited me to go out for dinner and I wouldn't go because I couldn't enjoy it. It would cause me so much anxiety. Or when I went and I overate, how sad and guilty I felt after, that I wouldn't want to go again. So I need you to know that if this is what you're going through right now, if you feel that you cannot control how much you eat, or when you restrict yourself you end up taking it to the extreme, please know that you're not alone, and so many of us have great intentions. So many of us start out that we're just going to eat healthily, we're just going to go on a little diet, or we're just going to have this food, and then it just happens. It particularly happens if we've got lots of labels for foods. I had so many labels for food, so many foods I would label as bad, other foods I'd label as fattening, other foods I'd label as good. I just had so many labels. And if I'd eaten something that I'd labelled bad, all of a sudden I'd be hit with guilt. And instead of being kind to myself, instead of accepting that I'm not perfect and carrying on with eating normally and sensibly and healthily, I'd feel bad and I'd spiral down further. And then I would think, I've blown it today. So let's say I ate a piece of cake. If I ate that piece of cake, I'd be like, cake is bad. Then I'd be like, well, as I've eaten cake, I may as well eat whatever I want and start again tomorrow. If this sounds like you, then the best thing you can do and the most important thing you can do to change this is to start being easy on yourself. Give yourself room to get it wrong sometimes. This is what I've learned in my journey to freedom. Instead of aiming for 100% healthy day or week, it might be easier to begin with to say, right, I want to have a 70% healthy day or a 70% healthy week. It also might be a good idea to address this sod it, eat everything attitude when it kicks in. It normally kicks in because love is missing. And I'm going to be sharing more about love and the power of love as we go through these episodes. So for now, don't get caught in the trap of giving up just because you had one slip up. The key thing to take away from today is to challenge that all or nothing mentality. Forgive yourself if you slip up. Forgive yourself if you overeat. Forgive yourself if you are sick after you've eaten. Sometimes I would say to myself, right, I'm not going to eat this today. I'd wake up in the morning and I'd be like, I'm not going to be sick today. And then something would happen throughout the day, or I'd eat far too much, and then I'd be sick, and then I would be like, right, that's it. I may as well continue like this and start tomorrow. And then what an awful day that was. Not only did I hurt my body by stuffing all the food in, sometimes I was sick, so that obviously hurt my body even more. I'd be tired, I'd be drained, I'd be dehydrated. And by the time it was the next day, I'd feel so drained and ill. I just woke up and would just feel so down that sometimes the cycle would repeat because I had so much self-hate for myself for doing the cycle again. So the key thing here is avoid being an all or nothing person. If you slip up, have compassion for yourself. We all slip up. Slip-ups are natural and normal. It's how far you slip up, and it's how far you beat yourself up. If you focus all your attention on what you've eaten, quickly remind yourself that you deserve love. And it's about progress, not perfection. And that's what this emotional eating podcast is about. It's about progress. Throughout the episodes, my goal and my mission is to help you to take control of this and to switch to love. And it's not about perfection, because us humans, we are perfectly imperfect. And there's no such thing when it comes to perfect eating. It's impossible. So if you're trying to eat perfectly, get rid of that right now and start to realise that you are perfect. This is some of the guidance that I wish I had years ago to be free. Get in touch with me if you have any questions at all, because the truth is there are thousands and thousands of people that are suffering with emotional eating and eating issues all around the world, and yet only a few are honest enough with themselves and brave enough to face it. So the fact that you are here, and the fact that you can listen to this, and the fact that you can hear my story and hear these bits of wisdom that are going to be coming through to you is a sign of strength. A sign of strength that you want more for yourself. A sign of strength that you are ready to recognise that you don't have to live like this any longer. So congratulate yourself for being here with me. This is the first step to freedom. From my heart to yours, have an awesome week ahead. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Emotional Eating with Nicola-beer. If you would like to find out more about her new system, aimed at getting beneath the issue of weight gain and harmful food control to eradicate the root cause of over and under eating, then you can visit her website at www.nicola-beer.com. There you'll find more free resources on how to become free and live a life you love. She also invites you to connect with her on social media. All her social media links can be found on nicola-beer.com also. Wishing you an amazing day ahead.